90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The remarkable soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Would you like to put your business in front of rural America and the ag community every week? We have sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Contact us to find out how you can milk it for all it's worth. The popularity of the fresh and locally grown movement is having a positive impact on Virginia vegetable growers. To ensure the safety of that produce, state and federal officials are introducing new food safety requirements. We'll focus on those requirements during Ag Insights. We also have a report this week about a champion Christmas tree grower. Plus, we'll have a book review on how to speak chicken. You heard me right, how to speak chicken. Those stories and more on this episode of Virginia Farming. I'm Jeff Ishii. Well, the holidays are here, and Virginia Christmas tree growers will be extremely busy over the next few weeks. Dave Miller has the story.
Bill Francisco started planting trees back in 1973 on the family farm he grew up on in Augusta County, Virginia. He had the land, and growing trees didn't involve a lot of capital investment. 6 years later, he started selling cut-your-own trees from his farm, and he has a retail lot in Richmond where he sells some of his trees for customer convenience. His goal has always been to provide the freshest tree possible.
When you use a Christmas tree, you're using something that was planted for that very purpose. You aren't decimating the national forest or anything. This is a crop that's grown to be harvested. Young trees give off a lot of oxygen and they absorb a lot of carbon dioxide. So it's an operation where you're using a nice fresh tree. And I think fresh is the most important thing for people to think about with their family Christmas tree.
Retired school teacher Susie Baker assists Francisco on the farm and handles the retail and the people side of the business. She's seen the spirit of the holiday season time and time again.
What I like about the business is the happiness. I love the people coming out, the kids coming out, they get their dogs out of the car, and the kids just go running into the fields. They can't wait to get there. And it's a good time. It's just a great time. It's a good feel. And I look forward to that, and it's never disappointing because every day, every hour, new people are coming out, and they just love it.
Last summer, a tree from Francisco Farms won the Grand Champion Award from the Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association. As a result, they are proud to be donating a tree to the governor of Virginia this season. While winning awards is gratifying, Francisco says he's pleased his trees can be recycled in many ways after the holidays are over.
With a cut-your-own business, you don't have any left over. But on a retail lot, if you have some left over, and this is a benefit of real trees, they can be recycled, unlike the fake trees. So some people just they want trees from me to put in a fish pond, for instance, to provide barriers for these fish. Somebody else uses them for a duck blind. So it's lots of uses for Christmas trees when they're left over.
Baker says the more members there are in a family, the more favorite traditions they have. Some visitors come to the farm early to plan parties or have family gatherings, and they want a large show tree. Others may have small children, and they want a tree that's closer to their size. No matter what size tree they purchase, there are a couple of key tips for keeping it fresh.
A tree will take up a lot of water, especially in the first few days. So water is very, very important. People will need to cut off the very end of the tree and have the water in the stand ready and get that tree in the stand so it can soak up a lot of water, which it will want, and stay fresh. And that is a key because it won't be flammable and the needles will hold a long time as long as, it's a living thing and it needs water. That's important. And to have a stand that is correct for a tree. get the right stand for the tree.
Virginia has almost 600 Christmas tree farms on 10,000 acres. That represents more than 100 new farms over the past decade. And just like with fruits and vegetables, many consumers want to buy their Christmas tree locally. You can find a cut-your-own Christmas tree grower near you at virginiagrown.com. Search the site for Christmas trees, and you'll find dozens of options. In Augusta County, this is Dave Miller.
Thank you, Dave, for that report. Well, the farm-to-table movement has become very popular in Virginia. Cooperative Extension will be holding a 2-day conference on the subject in early December. Topics to be addressed include using a hoop house to extend your growing season. There will also be sessions on farm-to-school programs and the future of the agricultural workforce. Once again, the Virginia Farm-to-Table Conference is scheduled for December 6th and 7th in Weir's Cave, Virginia. More information is available by calling your local extension office. The state and federal officials are taking a proactive stance to ensure the safety of fresh produce grown in Virginia. We'll talk about it next during Ag Insights. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii. This is Virginia Farming, and we are in beautiful Weir's Cave, Virginia today at the Valley Pike Farm Market on Route 11 in the Shenandoah Valley, a beautiful and historic place. And it's my pleasure to welcome to the program today 2 officials with the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. They work with the Produce Safety Program, which we'll learn all about during this segment of the program today. Eric Bungo and Ann McGee, thank you so much for coming over today and helping us all learn about some changes that are coming to commercial and even backyard, so to speak, in some respects, vegetable and produce production here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's all about safety. It's all about produce safety. And if we can get you to tell us a little bit about the background of this produce safety program and why there are changes that are necessary.
Well, the FDA realized that there was a need to be proactive instead of reactive towards produce safety. And we have these new regulations that were going to help us to help the growers have safety on their farm.
Good. Eric, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do every day with the Virginia Department of Agriculture.
Sure. So on an everyday basis, I'm responsible for managing the federal-state cooperative agreement. And so we received a 5-year grant from the FDA to really work with farmers and help educate them and perform these inspections in the future on covered produce farms. We're one of 43 states that received the grant. The other 7 states, the inspections will be done by the Food and Drug Administration. In Virginia, we will be the ones, and the inspectors from VDAX will be the ones on the farms.
Now let's talk about who this is going to impact. You know, when I talk with Sandy Adams, Commissioner of Agriculture here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, every speech I've ever heard Commissioner Adams say that, we're so blessed here in the Commonwealth of Virginia with a diversity of agriculture, from poultry and dairy and beef cattle to cotton and peanuts and of course we can't forget King tobacco. But we are blessed with tree fruit in the Shenandoah Valley and just aquaculture around the Chesapeake Bay and around the Atlantic Ocean. We are blessed to have that diversity of agriculture, and even so in the fresh produce industry. On the eastern shore of Virginia, you'll find produce farms that are several hundred acres in size. They produce really on a commercial scale. And maybe in southwestern Virginia, you find a lot of small farms that may be 1 acre, but they grow intensively vegetable and fresh produce for their local farmers market and maybe restaurants. So there's this broad diversity of produce operations in Virginia. Let's, Eric, talk about that. Who does this apply to? Is it just the big farmers?
Sure. So it's kind of the produce safety rule. It's really scaled over a 3-year period, and it truly affects anybody that grows over $25,000 worth of produce in a given over a 3-year estimated period. So the first people that are going to have to comply are the large farmers, and those are the ones making over $500,000 averaged over the 3-year period, and they have to comply by January 26th of 2018. The following year, the next January, the small farmers, so that's your $250,000 to $500,000 in gross sales, and then year 3 is anybody in that $25,000 to $250,000 range. But again, Jeff, it's anybody that's growing, again, fresh fruits and vegetables that are intended to be consumed raw. So if the produce is heading to further processing or the consumer doesn't necessarily eat that commodity raw, there may be exemptions for that.
So, Ann, as you were telling me before we started taping today, there are certain sectors of the produce industry that are exempt.
There will be, yes.
There will be.
There will.
So, for instance, sweet corn.
Yes. Sweet corn, potatoes, collards. There's a specific list of produce that will be exempt, and if you grow those, you'll be exempt from the regulations.
But in general, it's not how many acres you farm. It's a monetary value, and it's averaged over a multiple year time frame.
That's correct.
Okay. So let's take some examples here. Let's say that I am growing $200,000 worth of green beans on the Eastern Shore, and I'm supplying a commercial cannery. Does it apply to me?
No.
It does not.
Because of the commercial processing, it will be exempt.
I see. So it's not intended to be. Explain that to me. Why am I exempt?
Eric?
Because that produce is heading, it's not intended to be consumed raw. So there's a bacterial kill step, and really the produce safety rule, it's really about reducing pathogens and foodborne illness outbreaks. Because again, between 1996 and 2010, there have been 131 produce-related outbreaks of fresh produce. Your spinach, your cantaloupes, cucumbers, serrano peppers. So the list goes on, and that was really the impetus behind the produce safety rule. But again, since your produce is going to a cannery, and the retort process is going to kill any potential pathogens on the green beans, then there's really no cause for concern.
Okay, let's take another example. Let's say I'm in Albemarle County, and I raise produce strictly for the local farmers market, and maybe I sell to some commercial restaurants. Salad greens, radishes, beets, tomatoes, of course, cherry tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes. Should I be concerned about these regulations?
You should be. If your total sales over the 3-year average is under $500,000, then and you're within a 275-mile radius or within the same state, then you could be what we call qualified exempt.
I see.
And so staying under those criteria, you could be exempt from most of the regulations.
Okay. I'm just throwing out some samples. Wine grapes?
If the wine grapes, if they're intended to be consumed like a table grape.
Table grapes,
they are covered.
Okay.
Yes,
strawberries?
They're covered.
Correct. Okay. All right. So, boy, again, we're so blessed in Virginia that we have all of these different things, from sweet potatoes on the Eastern Shore to wine grapes all over the state now. Bottom line is, our viewers, you should be aware that there are changes coming to produce safety regulations. If you farm on a commercial scale, even though it maybe is only your local farmer's market, you need to be in contact with the Virginia Department of Agriculture, perhaps your local extension office. Understand that there are some educational events that are coming up in the very near future that you want to help the farmers be more aware of these changes.
Sure. So really, Jeff, we're in year 2 of the grant now, and the first year was really about developing the program and implementing the program and passing the state legislation. Year 2 is more about the education and outreach piece. Really getting the word out to the farmers that may be affected by the new produce safety rule. So we're going to be attending some events. You'll see me and Ann and some of our inspectors at some events coming up. Be at the Small Farmers Conference in Charlottesville and the Farmers Market Association meeting in Roanoke. We're also going to be doing some educational visits in conjunction with Virginia Cooperative Extension and Virginia Tech. And what we really want to do is we develop these cards as part of our outreach program to kind of make, are you covered, may you be covered by the produce safety rule, and if you are, please visit our website. We shortened it. It's now www.vaproducesafety.com. But again, so we'll be attending these events to hand out these cards to educate the farmers and the produce growers that, hey, you may be affected by this new rule.
Yeah, the bottom line is the farmer's going to have two questions. Number one, what's it going to cost me? And number two is, what is the timeline? And I know that you mentioned the timeline previously, so let's go through that again. Here we are in the fall of 2017. What should farmers know, Ann, about the timeline of this implementation?
Right. Well, the larger farms will be implemented. They need to be in compliance as of January 26th of 2018. And those are the farms over 500,000 in their 3-year average produce sales. And then everyone else will fall in after that, the mid-sized farms in 2019 and the smaller farms in 2020.
Okay. And of course, the big question every farmer asks is, could this potentially cost me a lot of money? How do you answer that?
You know, I don't think, with the large farms, a lot of them have been following the good agricultural practices that were established by the FDA and industry. There are other industry standards, a lot of your GAPS programs that the buyers are even requiring. So your larger grocery stores and wholesale markets are requiring global GAPS and a lot of the GAP inspections. So I think a lot of the larger farmers are already doing everything that's going to be under the produce safety rule. And we like to say that the produce safety rule is really the bottom, the baseline standard, okay? There are other standards that are above and beyond that, your T GAPs for your tomatoes. So it could end up causing some of the small farmers some money to implement some of the practices. Really, the produce safety rule, it's intended, there's 6 really guidelines within the produce safety rule. It's the agricultural water. So yes, that is going to cost money because the farmers are going to have their water tested on a certain basis. However, the water standards are phased in later, down the road. The second one is your biological soil amendments, so you're paying attention to that, keeping your records straight. The other one is domestic and wild animals, making sure the wild animals aren't in your fields and you're keeping them out. And then you have your worker health and hygiene, making sure the employees have a place to use the restroom and they're not sick when they're in the field, picking the produce. And then you have your sprouts, which are a totally separate category, but they do fall under the produce safety rule. And then your final one is the building equipment category. So just making sure everything, if you do have a packing shed, making sure everything is kind of up to par.
And what it all boils down to really is just improving food safety. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And you want your consumers, who's buying your produce, to eat something that's safe. So we want to make sure that you're growing and handling it safely.
Will there be a certification process? Will the consumer know via a label or something like that this producer meets certain requirements?
No, we don't have a certification. We don't have, there's no permits, no fees with this. It's a proactive program to, again, reduce the amount of foodborne illness caused by, fresh produce. And like Ann mentioned earlier, it's more about, preventing food safety and instead of reacting to these outbreaks that are happening.
There's some real horror stories that we've all seen on the national news concerning food safety and fresh produce. So farmers, again, if you go on a commercial scale, even if it's at a farmer's market, you're supplying local restaurants. If you're going retail, and again, this is something you probably, maybe not, but probably will be impacted by. How can people get more information about this, Eric?
Sure, they can visit our website. Again, it's www.vaproducesafety.com. You can go there, and we have a lot of links for some educational resources, some links to the FDA website, with documents, kind of a flow diagram that helps you determine if you are covered, and if so, when might you be covered, when's the compliance date. It also has on there our email address and our phone number, so you can get in contact with any of us and shoot us some questions.
Okay, once again, that web address?
It's www.vaproducesafety.com.
All right, and of course, people can always call their local extension office, and they'll be able to get the producer in contact with you. And I want to thank you so much for bringing us up to date on this topic. Such an important topic. We're all concerned with food safety, and we want to be assured that all farmers in Virginia are following these laws, following these regulations. And thank you so much for answering my questions about it. And I think that our audience will have learned a lot. Thank you
Jeff,
again
for having us.
All right,
Thank you,
my
sir.
pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. A new book was recently published to help backyard chicken enthusiasts. The book is entitled How to Speak Chicken, and it has a lot of interesting tidbits about chicken behavior. Backyard chickens are more popular than ever. Thousands of families all across Virginia, they keep a few hens for a variety of reasons: fresh eggs, insect control, and just a sheer pleasure of keeping chickens. But have you ever wondered about chicken language? A new book from writer Melissa Coggy examines why your chickens do what they do and say what they say. The book is entitled How to Speak Chicken and was released by Story Publishing in 2017. Now, if you're a newcomer to keeping poultry, this book will provide knowledge on understanding chicken body language, flock etiquette, and the emotional life of chickens. For instance, what makes a hen broody? Is that a good thing, a bad thing, or just a thing? What exactly is it that makes a rooster crow? Do roosters crow only in the morning? How about pecking order in the flock? How and when is it determined? One chapter is devoted solely to the topic of the emotional life of chickens. Can chickens become jealous? And do chickens enjoy playing games? All of these topics and more are discussed with colorful illustrations, helping small flock owners to learn what makes a chicken tick. Coggy says chickens, they speak volumes if you just know how to listen. Once again, the book is entitled How to Speak Chicken. It's softbound, contains 144 pages, and was written by Melissa Coggy and published by Story Publishing. Our pearl of wisdom this week is from an anonymous viewer who says, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results." So very true. Oh, before we go, we'd like to remind you about some interesting topics we'll be covering over the next several weeks. You'll be seeing stories about everything from fish farming to creating a honeybee sanctuary, everything from making Virginia-grown potato chips to teaching blind children about agriculture. And if you've got a story to share, just contact us through the website at virginiafarming.com. That does it for our show this week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii for Virginia Farming. And now for your Ag Trivia question of the week, the answer when we return.
"90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security. Check out Virginia Farming on Facebook. Virginia Farming's Facebook page is a great way to stay connected with Virginia agriculture. You might even find some humor there too. You'll find links to events and happenings all over the Commonwealth that are of interest to farmers and consumers alike. So connect with us and share your stories and photos with the Virginia farming community and keep up to date on all things agriculture. Virginia Farming on Facebook.
And now the answer to your ag trivia question of the week. The average weight of a turkey purchased at Thanksgiving is 15 pounds. By the way, you might find it interesting to know that the heaviest turkey ever raised, it weighed a whopping 86 pounds. That's about the same size as the German Shepherd.